Have you ever wanted to go on a heartfelt journey in the lives of your loved ones and newfound acquaintances? Do you enjoy listening and engaging in uplifting discussions that leave you motivated and inspired to take action in your own life? This podcast is a space where we have in-depth conversations on family, health, spirituality, entrepreneurship, and well, just plain old life. I'm Jesse De Leon, and this is my passion. Join me on a walk into the fascinating narratives and meaningful conversations that shape our experiences. Welcome to The Knowing, a Life and Stories podcast. Hello, welcome back, everyone. So happy to be here with you guys. Again, I just want to thank you for listening, tuning in, and supporting the podcast. It means a lot to me and to my other producers, Jeffrey and Darren. We're excited to have y'all here with us. And I want to start off by reading a quote from an amazing a person who's no longer living. He said, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And that's by Mahatma Gandhi. You know, I remember when I first read and learned about him, and when I first read that quote, it really was so profound and significant in my life, and it has served me well, and I've used it many times to uh, to to say it to people that I care about, and mostly say it to myself, and to remind myself that the world is really a beautiful place, and where change is as challenging at times, it's actually pretty easy when you recite that to yourself. Be the change you want to see in the world. How simple does that seem, right? It's just like, wow, is it that easy? Can we really change the world by just changing ourselves? And the answer is yes. We can choose to do that every day. Every day we wake up, we can offer the day up to God and then just tell ourselves to be the change we want to see in the world. I was recently with my nephew and my niece-in-law, his wife, and their 3 children, and my sister, actually for the 4th of July weekend. And I wasn't going to go. And they invited me to go. And when my nephew called and my niece-in-law, Brooke, and Hunter, when they called, how could I say no to that? They just asked with so much love, and they really meant it. And my sister had mentioned it to me before. My sister Delinda mentioned it to me, and I said, well, I'll think about it. But when my niece called and when my nephew called and asked, well, I had to say yes. And I had a great opportunity to spend time with them and to spend time with their children. It was so beautiful. And it meant a lot to me. And I was able to see and experience what it means to, again, to be the change we see in the world, because we can choose. When we walk into a room, we can choose to walk in with a smile, with a gracious heart, with kindness, with love. And especially in those moments that it feels awkward, you're around other people. My nephew and his wife had other friends, other families that were there. It was a big group of people. And it's always, just I get a little shy sometimes when I know there are going to be other people whom I don't know well. But it's always beautiful because it challenges me to embrace the moment, to be in the now, and to force myself to introduce myself and to get to know about them and let them get to know about me. And we just had a really wonderful time, and change is a beautiful thing. It inspires us. It helps us to really see ourselves and to grow. It doesn't have to be hard. We can choose to make it what we want it to be. And, there's so much happening in the world right now. And there are a lot of great things happening in the world. I think I feel it's important that we focus on that. And then the things that we want to see different, or that we want to change, then let it begin with us. My sister Delinda and I were talking about, how awkward it can be in the elevator. Just that simple, right? It can be so awkward. You're in the elevator with strangers. And she said how she was with my sister Estelle the other day, and um, and how Estelle just talks to everybody, and you takes that moment to make the most of it and learn about everybody that she's coming into contact with. And my sister said, "Gosh, Jess, I wish I could be more like that." And I said, "Well, you can be, and we can be, and we just have to put ourselves out there, and to just a simple smile, right? A simple smile might get you a smile back, and it's beautiful when we can engage people and ask them who they are, where are they from, how their day is, and just making the effort to um, make a change. Right? Sometimes we look at someone that that isn't saying much, and the first thought is, well, gosh, they're not friendly, or they have an attitude, or or they're snobby. But really, you know, if we want to change that, why not let's make the first step, right? And say hello, and engage them, because sometimes it's just they're just shy. They're just not, they're probably feeling insecure too in that moment. I know it's happened to me many times. And I just think that if we put ourselves out there, and we make the effort, and we change the things that we want to grow from within ourselves, I feel that will help us to change the world around us. And I think that's what Mahatma Gandhi was talking about. I mean, he was such an amazing, influential man who brought his people to independence in India, I believe in 1947. He was ahead of his time. He started out as a lawyer, and then became an activist to bring about change and freedom. And he was, I mean, it wasn't easy for him, but he did it with a love and a grace and a belief that if he could face adversity with love, even in the midst of people being unkind and unloving to him, that grace would forge change. And it did. And India became independent. I mean, isn't that amazing that one man could do that for a nation, for a country? Well, we can do that too. And we don't have to think of it in large scale of we're going to change the country. We're going to change the world. But what about just changing, the small world around us, the places that we in our workplace, our schools, our neighborhood, just engaging people with a kindness and a love and an openness to help bring about, uh, communication, um, community. I think that's what it's really all about. And I wanted to talk about this today because I was at church this morning, and I asked the Holy Spirit, please help me and inspire me to have something special to say in this episode that we're recording right now. And yes, I had other thoughts, other ideas. I have plenty of topics that I could talk about. But what I like about what I'm doing with this podcast is, I don't record many episodes in advance, as my producers will tell you. They're always so loving and so kind and encouraging. And I'm always at the 11th hour, right? Just sometimes flying by the seat of my pants. and they're so lovely and kind and so patient with me. But I don't know. I asked the Holy Spirit, help me and let me talk about something that that you want me to say, to share a message. And this came into my thoughts was to talk about how we can be the change that we want to see in the world around us. It is that simple, guys. It is so simple. It starts with just loving oneself and loving each other. That's it. And when you love someone, it's because you care. You want the best for that person, right? You want the most for that person. And so why not? Let's just try that with people we don't know and let's get to know them. Let's create our community. Let's grow our community, in kindness and in love and in fellowship, right? My other niece, Dacre, is on her way to Colorado with her husband and her daughter. And she took the effort to stop in a little town called Amarillo, Texas. It's in Texas. And she thought of looking up our family, extended family. And she reached out to one of my sisters, and my sister gave her the number of a couple of our aunts who are still living. And my niece literally took the time, she and her husband, to stop, to look them up, and to just, she said, I just wanted to give them a hug and a kiss and let them know we're thinking about them and that we love them. And that just meant a lot to me. See, that's changing the world around you. She didn't have to do that. She hasn't seen her great aunts and uncles, and I don't know how long it's been, maybe since she was a child, but to take the effort to go out of her way and stop. We think about it, right? We think about doing that. Oh, I'll do it on the way back. Then I'll do it the next time I'm headed that way. I'll stop by and say hi. But she took action. She did it. She did it today. And she sent me a picture of she with my aunt, her great aunt, and her cousin. And I just think that's so special. So in closing, I want to leave you with that thought. Take the time now, today, to make a change, to change yourself. And by changing ourselves, we can change the world around us. So have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm literally praying for all of you, and please keep praying for me. And thank you for supporting and continuing to support the podcast. I love you guys.